Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts89. Well, I finally started my Doctor Who indoctrination. I sort of couldn't find my way into Doctor Who because there's so many decades of shows and so many episodes missing, and even the ones that exist are not available on DVD. They haven't done all the seasons yet. They're sort of doing them in random order because of some of the missing issues and restoration issues, and I just didn't know how to get into it. And I just decided, you know what? You're never going to have the perfect conditions. You're never going to have a complete. So you may as well just jump in, watch a story or two, an adventure or two with each Doctor, and then just get a sense of that whole original era. And then you can just keep going back to different eras, and that's just going to be the way you're going to have to watch it. Just going backwards and forwards in time, kind of like the Doctor, and you're never just going to get a straight run from start to finish. That's what I really wanted to do. There's no way to do it. So I just gave that up, which I was clinging to that idea, and it was stopping me from getting into Doctor Who, but now I'm in. So I just want to give my impressions of the Doctors because I finally have seen them all have an adventure. Now, William Hartnell, now he's lucky enough to have had a making of movie done about him, so we know a bit more about how he got into the series and what happened in that. And I liked him. He had this old grandfather wizard sort of vibe about him, and that kind of worked. And he did a good job. He was only on the show for 3 years. His health started to fail and they replaced him. He wanted to just take a step back and be like more of a narrator while the sort of companions went off and had the fun. But they just got rid of him. They brought in another guy. Now, Patrick Troughton, I think that's his name, he didn't have a Doctor vibe. Something about him, he just looked kind of a little creepy. He didn't really work for me as a Doctor. I just sort of like, that's who they went with. They didn't continue on with the grandfather vibe. They just went for a younger guy, but not young enough to actually be funky or interesting. And I don't think they really worked out who the Doctor was, I guess. I guess that's what happened. He was there for 3 years again, from 66 to 69. Then we got Jon Pertwee. Now, Jon Pertwee, I always thought it was Petewee, but Pertwee. I found new respect for him when I found out he played Wurzel Gummidge, because I loved Wurzel Gummidge when I was a kid. And my understanding is he's Wurzel Gummidge. I have never actually checked that's true, so I hope that's true. I just saw it, I was like, oh, of course. So I hope I'm not remembering differently. But he was good. He had some personality. I think he really created the Doctor Who character, where he was just this quirky, over-the-top, intelligent, sort of worldly, travelled character, but still had this kind of boyish joy and fascination of humanity and history and that. And I think he really created the Doctor Who character. I didn't see any of that in Patrick's version of it, although I only saw a couple of adventures with him. Now, of course, the third Doctor, like I said, he made the character. I should be referring to them as second, third, fourth. I've been referring to about their names, but the fourth Doctor is the one that I think really most people see as the Doctor, and I'm not sure what that is. I think maybe they did a lot more promotion with him actually going around. I know in Australia he did a tour all around Australia and went to schools and everything, and he really, for a lot of people, is the Doctor. And I think he took what what was his name? I've already forgotten. Pertwee. He took what Pertwee created and then just sort of built on it and made it even more interesting. But they both had like the Doctor vibe, and he had a little bit more twinkle in the eye, and I don't know, there's something about him that's the Doctor. And also, he also did it for more years than anyone else. Pertwee did 4 years. Tom Baker did, I think, 7 years, from 74 to 81. And I can't believe he was gone by 81, because I had seen repeats of him playing the Doctor and thought he was the current Doctor, and it was years after it had been cancelled, and there'd been like 2 or 3 Doctors since. I didn't even know. But I think Tom Baker is my favourite Doctor, but he's actually not the like, I really like Hartnell is the first Doctor, but the first real Doctor is Pertwee, and I think Baker did the best Doctor, because after Baker went, my God, we got Peter Davison. Now, Peter Davison, I get they wanted some young, blonde, cute guy, thinking it would appeal to people more, but he had no Doctor energy. He just was, it looked like he was some preppy guy going to a football, like a cricket match or something like that, with that cream outfit. I just don't know. He just didn't work. He just did not have the Doctor vibe. Nothing about him said, I'm thousands of years old and I've travelled and I have this fascination with history and travelling and humanity and all this stuff, and it just didn't work. Again, I've only seen a couple of stories with him, a couple of adventures with him, but he just didn't work. Now, Colin Baker, he was awful too. He looked like a clown. He had the puffy hair and the clown costume, which was too much. I'm like, who designed this? Like, oh, we have to design a Doctor Who outfit for Doctor Who. And like, wow. I'd seen some pictures and I just sort of thought, no, there must be something more to that. He can't look that bad. No, he just looked that bad. And the companion, who was just, was that supposed to be an American accent? I don't know what the hell that was, but she was cringe. And I'm just like, oh my God, what were they thinking? And that was almost the end. Next was Sylvester McCoy. Now, Sylvester McCoy is an odd, quirky little man, and he was kind of cute in an odd, quirky little man way. And I think he kind of pulled off the Doctor. It worked, but not on the level of Tom Baker. And I just, I have to say, I mostly saw clips with him just over the years. I was aware of him as one of the later Doctors, but I actually didn't have an adventure with him. I thought I did, and I realised I didn't. But fortunately, he was in the 1996 TV movie. He played the Doctor for the first 20 minutes or so before the regeneration. So I got to see a little bit of him in action as the Doctor, but I'm not sure he was at his best, because from the clips that I'd seen of him playing the Doctor, he had a bit more energy and was a bit more doctory and a bit more fun. But at least now I've spent a little bit of time for each Doctor. I've got a little bit of a sense of them and how the series went, but I still honestly don't really get that era. And I know I have to watch a lot more episodes, but it's very difficult because very few are available individually, at least to me, and I can't stream them. So I'm just going to jump into the new era of Doctor Who, and I'm going to watch every season because I've got every season except the Flux